Right then, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. Hope you guys are all doing good. We are live again today. If you are watching as a video, thank you for joining as well. There has been more and more news about Newcastle United's manager situation. It appears to be never ending at this point. I do predict we will have a manager very soon. Obviously, we saw Graeme Jones take over at the weekend and secured what I would say was a good point against Crystal Palace. It looks like, and I believe Graeme Jones will be in charge again this weekend against Chelsea. But in terms of bringing in that long-term or maybe even short to long-term manager in, the conversation continues to rumble on. Good evening to the guys just joining the chat now. Thank you for getting involved. As always, we will primarily be talking about the news today regarding Rafa Benitez and still being what is called the dream manager for Newcastle United. I mean, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt at the minute because, as I say, the number of managers we have been linked with has been extremely long. And in fairness, it looked like Fonseca was literally on the verge of joining us last week, and it didn't go through. And then, as I say, we will obviously talk about him a little bit. We'll talk about Graeme Jones a little bit. We'll talk about Rafa Benitez as well. As I say, news out today that he is apparently still in the running in terms of what Newcastle United and the new owners want. I think the fact that he is at Everton right now and the fact that they did not have a good game at the weekend has kind of stepped up this rumor a little bit. I think that is kind of probably pushed it higher than maybe where it actually is. But as I say, we will talk about it. Peter's right. We do have a new manager every day, according to the newspapers. And as of today, apparently, as I say, let me know down below what you guys think, obviously, whether you're watching live or in the video, because really, it is the question that continues to rumble on. If you could have Rafa Benitez, would you have him now? Or would you go with one of these other million other oh, sorry, I'm playing myself there. Would you go with one of the other millions of managers we've been linked with? I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. Fonseca, I had not heard a huge amount about him. The links with him were so high. The odds from the bookies were so low. I genuinely thought on Thursday it was going to happen. And the more I looked into him, the more I thought about him. I actually got quite excited, to be honest, but it didn't happen. Now the new rumors are out, and as I say, as of today, it looks like it's Rafa Benitez. I think that the new owners obviously, and again, I think if this takeover had have gone through in the summer, and Rafa Benitez was still a free agent yet to join Everton, I think it would have been Rafa Benitez in charge right now. I really do. And I think the fact that he didn't want to wait around forever is completely understandable. But as I say, I think the reason today this new news is kind of being elevated is the fact that he did not have a good game at the weekend. And now it's kind of getting the talking point out there that maybe, it hasn't, well, you know what you say, it hasn't gone well. Everton started really well. I think Rafa was doing a really good job to start with. The problem Benitez is always going to have at Everton is that before he even went in, because of the Liverpool link, he was always going to have doubters. And I don't think any Everton fan would want him to do badly. It's like Steve Bruce coming out and saying, "Oh, the fans wanted me to fail from day one." That is not true. You know, it could be anyone in charge of our club. It could be Donald Duck in charge of Newcastle, and we still want them to win. You know, I really don't care who it is a lot of the time, as long as they're in there for a good reason and they want to do well. I think the Everton fans, despite not being particularly happy with the Rafa Benitez appointment, will want him to do well. The problem is that the minute things don't go well, it's very easy for the fans to jump on and go, well, we didn't want him anyway. And, you know, when you're 2-0 up against a promoted side, Watford, and end up losing 5-2, you know, and I've seen the signs outside of Goodison Park saying, you know, we didn't want you in the first place and all that kind of thing. So that's where we are. So, yeah, again, thank you to joining everyone who's jumping in. Let me know about what you think about the Rafa story. So I'll have a quick look into this and I'll bring it up on screen so you guys can look at it as well. Effectively, as we look at the manager odds, which we've been doing every week on Toon Tuesdays now, because that's pretty much where we're at. Let's get that on there for you guys. So Fonseca is still in the running. I'm going to be honest. It's really tough to tell. Hello, Ben. Thank you for joining, mate. Thank you to everyone jumping in. It's really tough to tell where we are actually going with this. So what I understand that has also been said is that Fonseca has actually agreed a deal with Newcastle, and that apparently we are either going to bring him on very soon, or may still look at different options. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic for Newcastle, by the way. I spoke about this last week. The fact that we are able to go out there and have a multiple choice of managers who are interested. You know, I don't doubt for a second that we have been in touch and spoken with these managers. I think particularly the top four. And again, I mean, Rafa Benitez down at 25-1. Despite the rumors coming out today, his odds have not changed. And I think the main reason behind that is, again, despite the fact he didn't have a good weekend at Everton, he's still contracted to a club, and it's going to cost him. I suppose you could say that money isn't an issue, but I think the fact that they're going to have to pay him out of there. And, you know, I'm also reading that this is in the Echo, so this is a Liverpool newspaper. Not only am I reading about, you know, Newcastle owners identify Benitez's dream to succeed, and there's a few other stories in there still talking about Rafa Benitez and Newcastle. But what it's also spoken about a fair bit is that, you know, really he hasn't spent much in the summer at Everton, and maybe what the owners do need is to actually back him properly in the window. And we know what Benitez is like. You know, he was at Newcastle. He went to the Championship with us. You know, he didn't turn around and give up. And I really don't think it would be a Benitez thing to do, would be to walk out after 9 or 10 games, you know? So despite the rumors that maybe the Newcastle owners are still interested, and I generally do think they will have approached Benitez, probably one of the first managers to do so. But as I say, it's same with Benitez. You could even say it's similar with Steven Gerrard, both of which have said they aren't interested in the job. If it was in the summer, Benitez, if it was in the summer, because is that actually right? Benitez can't spend because of fair play. So is that why Everton did not spend much in the summer? Is that actually correct? Aha. Yeah, okay. Good point. Thank you to Trev and Geordie for pointing that out to me. No, that's great. I mean, yeah, so, well, there you go then. So maybe that's why they hold on to January for the new year. David Price said on the Blues podcast, but will be prompted to identify a particular type of transfer target for Everton after the shocking display against Watford. I mean, what you've got to say is that he still did do a really good you did a really good job with what fair play sucks. It does for Newcastle now that we've brought all this money. But again, maybe that's what Ashley's a very few things he did well for us, and by no means did Ashley say to himself, "I'm not going to spend any money for the next 14 years because when Newcastle get taken over, I want them to be able to spend as much as they want." No way did Ashley ever mean to do that. But as it happens, it has kind of worked out all right for us. But yeah, I mean, yeah, fair play is I mean, it is a funny one. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it definitely stops teams from being able to instantly jump into the top four or the top six or anything like that. So it does make it harder for other teams to be able to have takeovers and make their way up the board. But at the same time, it is also trying to stop, I suppose, football going completely out of control. And you could say, as much as it's bad, potentially bad for like Newcastle having a takeover, not being able to go out and spend £1 billion, but it has also, in theory, stopped the other top 4-6 teams from spending maybe a lot more in the last 5 or 6 years, and that would have made it even harder to catch up. But I mean, you talk about fair play, it is there, and it is there trying to do a good thing. It's just taking a bit of a strain on the teams of how to do it, because there's ways around it. That's the biggest problem. And they are meant to be looking at it and making changes in a few years' time, which is why they are also saying that if Newcastle wants to spend their money, they need to go out and do it quickly. So we will have to see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, for me, again, if this had happened in the summer and Benitez had come in through the door, it would have been really good. I would have liked to have seen that again. You know, I did my keep or sell video a few weeks ago, and I spoke about players that, you know, people didn't necessarily agree with. I spoke about players like Paul Dummett, players like, even Lascelles, players that have kind of, I mean, Paul Dummett's approaching 30 now. You know, he's only known the Mike Ashley era playing at Newcastle. All he's known is getting relegated. All he's known is fighting relegation battles. And the moment we bring in loads of money, we just say, right, see you later, mate, get out the door. So I totally get it. And there's loads of people who speak about the fact that, they would only like to keep St. Max, Willock, Dubravka and Wilson. But I also would like to see this be some sort of reward for some of these guys who are still trying to fight and have done for a long time. And it's similar with Benitez, because he really did us the favor by coming down to the Championship, was basically working on, shoestring budget to try and improve the team. So, and this is the thing now, because I've got the list in front of us here now. So you can tell me right now, if it had been in the summer and maybe he was an option, would you have taken it? Or are you now looking at the list in a new perspective and thinking, well, actually, I like the look of Fonseca, or I would actually like to see Lampard or Howe or someone else. So things are obviously changing all the time. But to kind of wrap up on the Benitez situation, I have to say that despite reports that he is apparently still the dream manager for Newcastle, I really can't see it happening. He isn't going to leave Everton after 8 games. It would have been amazing if it had happened in the summer. But for me, it's just not going to happen. And I have seen people speaking about it today and saying, you know what? We're still talking about Benitez. Like, what is it now? 3 years later after he left, and I mean, I get really frustrated at the pundits who still talk about him. And he was, I was a massive, I got my season ticket in the Championship because Benitez went to Newcastle, basically. That was a big part of why I wanted to jump on that. But, I get frustrated when the pundits still talk about him. And, well, obviously that was Brucey's favourite topic, wasn't it? Trying to compare himself to Rafa and saying how he did just as good as him, despite the fact that Rafa had Joselu, Atsu and Richie up front, and Steve Bruce was the best-backed Newcastle manager in history and had Wilson, St. Max and Joe Linton up front and still got the same points, which he says is a major achievement, despite spending more money than anyone else has and having a much better front three. But I'm not bitter about it because he's gone, and we can stop talking about him as well. But yeah, bring Rafa in and get him some good diamond-plated spectacles. That's what I want to hear. Aaron saying I don't think Rafa will come back. No, mate, I've got to agree with you. Tony's again hoping we sell some dross. I've got to agree with that as well. I want Mourinho as our new manager. Rafa is at Everton. Yeah, Mourinho's at Roma at the minute. From what I've seen, he's trying to get himself sacked as well. I think both Benitez and Mourinho are trying to do themselves out of a job so they can come to Newcastle. No, I can't see either of them. You know what? Maybe Mourinho one day. I still think it's something that the fans really like because of the Bobby Robson stuff. But at the same time, you know, I can't. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Bring in Gary Neville. Maybe, mate. Who knows? I think he's too happy in his chair at Sky Sports, to be fair. Yeah, and Seth coming in here, I'd rather start afresh with an attacking manager personally. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. And I think that's one reason that Fonseca has gone down quite well, to be honest. If I you know what it is, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on here. You know, Benitez isn't happening, guys. We're going to move him off the screen now. You know what it is? That's the first time I've actually noticed that there, though. Graeme Jones has actually got his own odds now. I don't think that was there last weekend. What do you guys think? How do you think Graeme Jones did at the weekend? I think for me, he was good. It was good. You know, well, again, you know, I think vast majorities of the game against Crystal Palace, and if you haven't seen my vlog at Crystal Palace, be sure to go and check that out on the channel as well. I did have a really good time. Loads of Newcastle's fans there, cans on the train, plenty of pints. So it was a really good trip. And I'll tell you what as well. Graeme Jones got a massive round of applause at the end of the game. He came over to the fans at the end of the 90 minutes and he gave a huge cheer. You know, he was really good. He was obviously very appreciative of the fans who went down there. But also it clearly meant a lot to him as well. So that was really good to see. I thought he sounded good in his pre-match press conference. Again, Graeme Jones actually bigged us up for a change. He actually spoke highly of his own team rather than previous managers telling us how bad our team is and how good the other team is. You know, to have someone come in and kind of speak proudly before the game started was also really good to hear. And again, he had 48 hours to try and turn things around, you know, to do something with the team. So all we could really hope for was just that little bit of extra Graeme Jones, a little bit of Graeme Jones magic to try and do something different. And I think the main thing he did was get the players to go out there and really give it a good go. And he spoke about that in his press conference as well. If you think back to the Spurs game where we had 10 minutes of magnificent football, followed by 80 minutes of just complete useless football. The Crystal Palace game, like, let's be honest, they had most of the ball. Benteke probably could have scored 5 if he knew how to hit the target. He hit the post, he hit the crossbar, he missed one from close range, and he had one ruled out for VAR. So Crystal Palace definitely could have had a few more, and if it wasn't for the fantastic overhead kick from Callum Wilson, it could have been even worse. But thankfully, as I say, we fought to the end, and I think that's probably the one thing that Graeme Jones had enough time to do was try and really get it in their heads. Yeah, Seth has got it. If that's right for me, more organised than Bruce, but still not great. I think a lot of the game still looked like the Steve Bruce side. And that's the big thing. You know, he hasn't had time. And there is also, you know, a slight... Why would Graeme Jones go in there and completely try and change the style of football knowing realistically that there's going to be a new manager in within a week. One thing he has done is put training on 5 times a week rather than 2 days on, 3 days off, which is also nice to see. Hello to the guys jumping in to the stream. Thank you for joining. We're getting a few shouts for various managers coming out here. There's still a few people. Conte is Manchester United bound. I was going to say there's a few shouts for Conte there. Yeah, I mean, where is he on the list? Is he just completely evaporated now? Really? Is he actually not there at all now? Well, that's him not, obviously. John Terry has higher odds than Conte. How the hell is he on there? Sporting director, not manager. There he is. Oh, he's just way down here. 33-1 still. Pirlo, get him in. Andre Villas-Boas, there was a lot of shots for him last week. There he is. Someone said Gary Neville earlier. There he is. There's your odds. 100-1. Thierry Henry, 41. Simeone, Tony Pulis, dear God. Please no. Someone was saying they want to see an attacking manager. I don't think you'd get that there. Crespo. I mean, what is this list? It goes forever. What is the highest odd? Nicky Butt, really? Pep Guardiola. Somebody said they wanted Pep. There's your 100-1 odds there as well. We've got a few shouts for Mancini. It's all the same guy. Sheridan. Yeah, I mean, 2 good shouts there. I mean, I'd probably take them both. John Terry's Brucey's mate. John Terry in, Bruce assistant manager. For the love of God, no. Sean Dyche. I know, mate. There's some strange ones on here. Pochettino, from what I've seen, it looks like he wants to get sacked as well. So maybe he's angling for his job. Who doesn't want Pep, to be fair? Yeah. I mean, look, we've got Shearer and Keegan in there, 150-1. Can't see it happening. Really can't at all. I think ambassador roles, I think they both love to be part of the club again, but I really can't see it being managers. To be fair, I've gone completely off topic here, but I'm quite enjoying looking through this list. Some of these names are quite crazy. Shola Ravioli, get him in. We want Shola Ravioli. Mark Hughes and Ryan Giggs, Gus Poyet. I mean, Ant and Dex as good a shout as any. They're probably friends with the owners now because they sat next to them in the box at the Spurs game. Maybe they'll see each other again at Chelsea at the weekend. Arsene Wenger. You know what? I've actually seen a couple of shouts, for Arsene Wenger in the last few days. I mean, I think for me, I want again. We are very far down this list now. If talking about Fonseca and again even Lampard and Gerrard and kind of fresher looks on the game and that kind of style of play, you cannot disagree with what Wenger did once upon a time. And you've got to also say that, to be fair, the Arsenal fans were desperate for Wenger out. They've gone way downhill since he left, And in fairness, yeah, I think I've got to agree with Trev a little bit there. To be honest, we don't want dinosaurs. No, I do see why people are talking about him. I see that what he did was great, and when he did leave Arsenal, it obviously got worse and worse. But I think fresh start, new eyes, is important for us as well. Again, well, that was one of the reasons that people were so frustrated. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Wow, imagine if that was. I mean, that's not going to happen, is it ever? I mean, 200-1. I don't think the odds are even good enough for that. Joey Barton. You know what? I'd be interested to hear I think some Newcastle fans might actually be interested in that, to be fair. Again, even is Scott Parker on there as well? Scott Parker shout. Bringing some of these players back to help. Shola's got the loan job at the club at the moment. It'd be interesting to see some of these guys back in some capacity. But I mean, under 23s. Coaching roles. There, Samuel's got the plan here. Straight swap. Ollie in Newcastle, Bruce to United. God, I mean, it's not happening. No way are we bringing Ollie in. And I mean, it would be hilarious if they got Bruce in, but I don't think that's going to happen either. And there you go. Oh, it actually shows you most popular bets. Wow. So not only does it show you here who the odds are, but it actually shows you who the most popular bets are. So Fonseca. So basically, everyone's money is on Fonseca right now. Pochettino. Oh no, others is actually higher. Oh, can we look at the others? No, we can't. Fonseca in terms of bets is huge, but look at the Pochettino. There's a lot of people who are feeling the Pochettino bet, which I I'm slightly shocked by. 125 to 1 though. I mean, if it happened, you'd make your money. Chris Hughton, get Johnson in from Sun just to piss them off. Why not? Yeah, I'd like to see the pundits defend Bruce at Man United. Yeah, you've got a good point there. And then who was it? And then Howe, Gerrard, and Lampard. So yeah, they're all pretty much what you'd expect. But the Pochettino one, though, obviously people are seeing some good odds there and thought they would try and stick a fiver on it. So anyway, back to the top. So Graeme Jones. So yeah, I thought he did a really good job in terms of him staying on permanently. I think that he has a good chance of staying at the club. I really think he has no chance of staying on permanently. It's been far too well documented that the new owners want a new manager. Again, going back to the start of our conversation and not going on about it too long. Rafa Benitez was the man I think they did want. The fact that it's coming out again today that they apparently haven't completely given up on bringing him in is kind of nice, that they're trying to show the loyalty to the manager that they wanted first time round. But he's at Everton now, and unless I think Newcastle will well, again, it wouldn't surprise me if it happened while this stream was on. Alternatively, I think maybe Thursday lunchtime. So it will be great. So, for example, let's just say it is Fonseca. He is the running. He is the favourite manager right now. 3-2 odds. I mean, you're barely getting your money back at the minute for that bet. So the bookies really see that being the one that's happening. For example, I think it'll be a really good timing to bring him in on Thursday. Let him potentially meet the team Friday. He can be in the stand on Saturday while Graeme Jones takes the Chelsea game. And then he can officially take over on Monday for a full week's training going into the weekend. In terms of Graeme Jones, it will be, I think that the majority of the backroom staff will definitely go upon a new manager finally being announced and joining. I think Graeme Jones has built a bit of his own reputation, thanks to not only his work at Newcastle, but also in England as well. So I think a new manager would definitely look at him and say, ooh, maybe he's someone worth keeping around. But as Tony has rightly put, I really cannot see him being the permanent manager. They obviously have their eyes on a new manager, and it looks like it's Fonseca. And as my guy here has said, I read Fonseca has already agreed. Is there a but? We need a style of play. Yes, Rafa would be nice again, but it's a but again. But yes, I've also read that Fonseca has already agreed. From what I've heard, and again, there's so many rumors spinning around. This is why I try not to ever react or say too much until it officially happens, because it's so easy to get caught up in the Twitter madness because there is so much going on. Again, all the Benitez stuff today is basically the new story for Newcastle today. Like, there is a new story every day. And I had to do a title for the video for the live stream and thought that's the one I'll go with. I really can't see it happening, but that's what I thought I'd jump on today. From what I've read, Fonseca has already agreed to terms. And we are in a position to offer him the contract, but we are also checking our final options before we do so, which could be true. It could be a complete lie. I think if it was officially over the line and it was done, I don't think they could keep it a secret for as long as it has, because supposedly it happened yesterday. Before that, I thought it was going to happen last Thursday, which is why I think it might happen this Thursday. Again, going back to what I said earlier about the fact that it would give him the chance to meet the team, sit in the stands for the game, and then be prepared for the following week. So I would really like it, rather than having the game this weekend, then announcing it Monday. I'd almost like it to come out at the end of this week, give him those few days, introduce him to the players, see the training ground, but let Graeme Jones take control for the match at the weekend. The players will still get the same buzz. The players will have met the new manager, so they will know that he's in the stands watching. They need to go out there and do a good job, because they know he is going to be deciding who picks the team the following week. So really, if Fonseca did come in on Thursday, he's not going to have time to change anything by Saturday. But what he will have time to do is sit in the stand and judge, which is just as big a thing for the players to come out and do a good job. That is the new manager bounce. That is the biggest thing we need. Is it a big enough bounce for us to do something against Chelsea this weekend? I would say possibly not, but I would definitely say it would be worth having. And again, I do think if this had gone through, like people are saying that it is a done deal and it'll be announced soon, I think it would have come out. It was supposedly done last week and nothing's happened. So if it had have happened, I think it would have been done by now. Pete's saying hopefully Friday when I have some cans. Yeah, I absolutely agree, mate. I think it would give an extra edge, an extra buzz to the game against the Chelsea side, who are, to be fair, have been really good this season, currently top of the league. We are going to really struggle on Saturday. I think having that come out on the Friday would not only give the players a big boost, but I think it would give the fans a big boost as well. Someone put a comment earlier saying that they feel the new owners are taking too long with their decisions, and I kind of get you there. I do, because at the end of the day, Graeme Jones is treading water right now because he can't really do anything. Again, Graeme Jones, there's no real point of Graeme Jones now trying to completely change how we play football, because he won't be there in a week. So all Graeme Jones can really do is just kind of babysit the situation until the next person comes in. And because of that, we aren't taking steps forward, which we really need to be doing as quickly as possible when we are sat in the relegation zone and we need to do something now. But the owners have been in for about 30 seconds, and I am willing to sit here and give them the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. Sky Sports breaking news: Roobenstein appointed new Toon boss. The fans go crazy in the big market. I know. Where's my odds? Why am I not on here? No, I really am happy sat in the stands, mate. To be fair, I can have plenty of pints up there. You can't do that in the changing room, I doubt. Someone is a fan of Favre with a view to making him director of football. I mean, again, the director of football stuff. Don't really know too much about Fonseca besides he was at Roma. Why are we even targeting him? Samuel, I'll be perfectly honest, a few weeks ago, I hadn't really heard of him either. And since then, I've actually done some research. I've looked into him a little bit. He plays some good attacking football. The one thing with him that, again, I can see some comments coming in. There's one for Eddie Howe there. And one thing with the Lampard, Eddie Howe kind of situation is the Premier League experience side of things. And previous to really knowing what Fonseca did, I was a bit dubious as well. But despite not having Premier League experience, you look at Lampard's Premier League experience. He did have a bit of time at Derby and then a year and a half at Chelsea. And in fairness, I actually thought Lampard did all right at Chelsea. I think he was harsh to be let go of. I think if he did that job at Newcastle, back at the time when he was at Chelsea, he was bringing young lads through and making them look good, which is something we've not done for, well, forever. You know, the Longstaffs were the last two that came through from the academy, and even then, Matty's ended up on loan in Scotland, and Sean isn't having the greatest of times right now. And then you look at Eddie Howe. Again, he has the Premier League experience, but he was ultimately relegated with Bournemouth. Fonseca started his career in Portugal at various Portuguese sides. He then went including Porto and Braga, so two good teams there. Then he went to Shakhtar Donetsk, where he got them into the Champions League football, made it through the knockout rounds. I don't know if you've seen have you seen the picture of Fonseca wearing Fonseca Zorro wearing his Zorro outfit? Basically, he made an agreement with the Shakhtar Donetsk players that if they were able to make it through the group stages and into the knockouts, he would dress as Zorro for his post-match interview, which shows he has a sense of humor as well, which I also like to see. So he has Champions League experience, and then he went to Roma. He had 2 seasons there. I think they came 5th and 7th, and that included a Europa League semi-final. So he doesn't have Premier League experience, but his football looks good. He has Europa League experience, he has Champions League experience, and he has experience of playing in, Italy. It's not the Premier League, but it is still a good league. And he doesn't have experience in the Premier League or being in a relegation battle, but I would still say his overall experience outweighs some of the other major candidates on this list. So, and again, I don't want to get too excited because at the end of the day, we haven't even seen him yet. Never mind play a match. We haven't even seen the guy yet. So to sit here and say, he is going to be our messiah and he is going to save Newcastle is far too soon. But I would certainly say bringing him in is a step in the right direction. It's definitely better than still having Graeme Jones as caretaker manager. And as my man Varner says, Fonseca will get a sack in a season and a half and Jose will step in next season. I don't know if that's maybe reading into the future a bit too far. But again, I still do not disagree with having short-term plan, long-term plan. I think what Fonseca offers is a very good potential long-term plan. You're never going to know how a manager is going to fit, not only to the team, how the fans are going to react to the football and the players and what he can do in a window. Does he have the pull to bring players in? All that kind of stuff. It's far too soon. And again, I'm still talking about Fonseca. Again, as far as I'm aware, I think it's pretty much the fact that a lot of these guys have been interviewed, and it's basically now on our owners to make that decision. It would not surprise me if the rumor regarding Fonseca and potentially having already agreed a contract may well be on the table, and it is now, from again what I understand, the Newcastle owners' prerogative to either sign it and bring him in, but as I understand, they are still checking off a final few options before they rush into it. Which again is what I mean by he could well be offering what they believe to be a very good long-term plan, but there is nothing against saying that he comes in, has a go, and if things don't work out, then we can look elsewhere. Ideally, and the problem with us as well is that we are in the relegation battle, so we kind of need it to go well. Like now, we can't really afford for him to come in and do a bad job. We need him to come in and do a good one straight away. Philippe here is saying Rafa is the only man that knows this club and is the only one that loves the fans. I love him back. Again, And then, you've got Ian on the complete other side of it. Rafa is in the past. We need to move on to bigger and better. And then Dan is, I personally love Rafa back. It's a real mixed bag. And as I say, look, Rafa is not coming back. Get over it, fuck's sake. Fair enough, Ian. It's a good shout. As I say, that we are talking about this today effectively due to the fact that new news has come out that the new owners are still looking at Rafa Benitez as an option. And I said it earlier in the video. If you're into the stream late, then you would have missed the beginning of this. I do honestly think that had all of this happened in the summer, when Rafa was still a free agent and hadn't gone to Everton, I think he would have come in. And I definitely don't agree with the shouts for Rafa coming back, because at the end of the day, if it was announced that he did come in, I think I'd be all for it, to be honest. But I do also agree with the fact that he's at Everton now, and it's not happening. I just can't see it happening, despite the various rumours about Rafa Benitez coming out in the last day or so. The newest one today with regard to Newcastle United. We'll have you back. Some Newcastle fans talk about Rafa Benitez. Almost impossible for Newcastle to appoint Dream Bruce's successor. Thrown in the towel. Some Newcastle fans have reacted to Benitez's defeat. I mean, the Chronicle just today have come out and claim that Newcastle have not given up all hope, convincing Rafa a return. So there is a lot of... And again, take it all with a pinch of salt. I mean, the Sun make Rafa Benitez number one choice to replace Bruce. That was only 8 hours ago. So it is a topic that's coming out today. I mean, you can see some of the guys making a video. Kieran made a video. So Rafa Benitez, right move for NUFC. Haven't seen that. So, and then Rafa Benitez responsive. So, yeah, Rafa, I mean, he's already come out and said that he wasn't interested. I think that the big reason that it is being talked about again today is the fact that he's just had an absolute nightmare at the weekend. He's just got absolutely stuffed by Watford at the weekend. The Everton fans aren't happy about it. And now it's opening up the rumour that maybe he could be linked back to Newcastle. But again, I don't think Everton will throw in the towel on Benitez. I think they took a very big step to bring in a manager that realistically wasn't liked and wasn't accepted by Everton for the well, to be honest, good reason, that he was very, very aligned with Liverpool, wasn't he? So you can completely see why the fans weren't happy. And Everton took a big step to bring in the man that they thought was right, despite what the fans thought, to now turn around 9 games in and go, you know what, actually, maybe we did make a mistake, get out. That's not going to happen. And Rafa Benitez is not the kind of man to just walk away after 8 games, you know, regardless of... Because realistically, our new Saudi owners could, in theory, walk in there and offer Benitez whatever he wants. You know, they could. They could pay off his contract. They could offer him whatever he wanted. But regardless of that, and, you know, he went and did his time in China. I bet he got paid an absolute bomb going over there. You know, he doesn't really need the money. And he has... You know, he has to prove himself. You know, you can't lose 5-2 and go, you know what, stuff it, I'm off. No, he's going to want to be there. He's going to want to prove himself. So let's be honest, I really can't see it happening. Alan saying we must move on from Rafa. He will not break simple contract symbols. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, mate. Again, the rumours are coming out. And again, you can see why our owners are potentially still interested in him. But for me, regardless of whether we're interested or not, I can't see it happening. The big one as well is that, again, everyone is talking about Fonseca, and it sounds like that deal is very, very close. You know, it could well be, if all the rumors are true. I'm sure probably none of them are, but imagine that maybe some of them are. The fact that Fonseca has apparently already agreed terms, and it is just the fact that our owners need to give it the final seal of approval to go ahead with it. Maybe one of those final things is to text Rafa one more time and say, are you sure? Who knows? I mean, we don't know. Grumble's enjoying the stream. Thank you very much, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, Luke's coming in here with a very good point. The new owner said it's going to take time, and we all said, yeah, sure, no worries. Now Toon fans have stayed saying that we want a new manager and we want him now. Patience, people, patience. I absolutely get it, mate. It's a real... it's a bit of a catch-22 for me, because at the end of the day, we've suffered with an owner, sorry, and a manager, to be fair, and Brucey. But anyway, we suffered with an owner, that's what I meant to say, for a long time, where we were given, we weren't given any info. Nothing was coming out. We're seeing Graeme Jones's his interviews all over Twitter, all over YouTube. We never got that with anyone else. This is the first time under the new owners, basically, where they are trying to make everything as clear as possible, trying to give as much info on the situation as possible, regardless whether it's right or wrong. Amanda Staveley very quickly said they wanted to take their time and make sure they did things right. And although it is fantastic that Bruce is gone, I think Graeme Jones as caretaker manager is definitely a good shout. It still feels a little bit like time is ticking on slightly. And again, Graeme Jones really is just babysitting aside. He hasn't got the time now to try and change the philosophy of football, especially if the new manager is due in 2 weeks' time. So it would definitely be better to have the new manager sooner rather than later. But I am also very understanding of the fact that they want to get it right. I don't want them to bring someone in. Like, what would you rather? I suppose they could take forever and then still get it wrong. But, if they did bring someone in after 24 hours and then straight away it all went wrong again, we would be saying, why didn't you take your time? So really, is as much as we kind of wanted to go through now, and again, I would still love it. Again, Fonseca is top runner, but even if it was any one of the other five or whoever it is, if it was to happen maybe this Thursday, so that they could sit in the stand and watch the Chelsea game, I think that will be really good. Newcastle fans will be dressing up as him for the first home game. Yeah, we do live a good dress up. Let's not. You back to the Fonseca, Mark. Sorry, I'm a bit delayed with the comments. Where was it? There he is. 50,000 Zorro mags. That would be funny. That would be really good. Oh yeah, half and half. 25,000 Zorros and 25,000 Saudis. So yeah, if you missed that comment earlier, Fonseca basically made a deal with Shakhtar Donetsk. And again, if you don't know a lot about Fonseca, this will be a little bit of info for you. Effectively, he made a deal with his team that if they were to get through the Champions League group stages and make it into the knockouts, he would wear a Zorro costume in the interview. So not only is he Champions League experienced, but he also has a bit of a sense of humor as well, which I think is definitely a plus. It's not the be-all and end-all, but I think Newcastle fans like to see a bit of passion and a bit of true thought from their managers, and that's the kind of thing you see with someone with a bit of humor and someone who's not kind of afraid to come out and say what they think. And clearly, he's not. If he's dressing up as Zorro, I'll try and jump into the comments a bit further. Yeah, Ethan talking about the Mourinho link again, mate. I am a big fan of that too. But again, it's similar with a lot of the links. He already has Roma. I think he is trying his best to get sacked at the minute from what I've seen. But at the moment, it's not going to happen. Yeah, same with Manky Sausage. Yeah, great name. Imagine the fairy tale of Mourinho lifting the Premier League trophy. There is some great shouts, and again, and even Mourinho's. I'm sure it wasn't even that long ago, was it? I'm sure Mourinho spoke about the fact that he has a place in his heart for Newcastle United, and I think a lot of Newcastle fans would love to see it again. If you go back to the summer, it wasn't just Benitez who was free in the summer. There was also Mourinho. There was also a few other managers that potentially we could have seen that are already with the club. Yeah, Curtis makes a great point there. Charnley out first. You've got to agree with that. That's something that I've not really spoken about a lot at all, to be honest, is the actual director of football. There was what's he called? Because he was on this list, wasn't he? Oh, there, Ralphie. He's been linked already. Overmars has also been linked as the director of football, and I definitely think that that's something we need. In terms of Charnley, I've got no idea really what he's been doing at the club, and I can only presume that he's been kept on in the meantime because without him, no one else would be doing it. Not that I know what he's doing anyway. And I suppose eventually, when when we do bring in a director of football, maybe something could happen. I can see a comment here. There's a few Shearer shouts in here as well. I mean, if you were late, there was a Shearer and Keegan on this list. I mean, it was quite far down. I mean, Shola Ramiobi's there as well. Where have we gone? Someone talking about Solskjaer as well. There's 200. Well, I've gone past them, haven't I? There they are. The Elite Two. Well, they aren't going to be manager. No way. They will come in and sit upstairs in the nice seats and hopefully just give the club what it needs, which is a bit of a voice from ex-players, from legends, from fans. I mean, again, the whole point of an ambassador role for these two guys is the point that we need someone in the club to yeah, that's another good point. He was on this. I've gone past him as well, haven't I? There he is. Good shout from Bradley there. But yeah, Martinez shout as well. If you Martinez is a good fit for Newcastle. I'm not sure if you like him or not. I'm unsure, mate. Again, I mean, this list is just never ending, and it's hard to have an opinion on every single one of them. I mean, this is probably why it's taken our own. I mean, I'm struggling to decide. Never mind our owners who have got the actual decision and they've got this list of people in front of them. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if they'd spoken to Martinez, maybe even just again sent a phone call his way to say, would you be interested? And if so, can you tell us why? I would not be surprised if we've received letters from multiple of these guys saying basically why they would or wouldn't be interested. I mean, the fact that there's still odds on some of these, like Gerrard, who has basically come out and said, he finished. He was at the end of the game, wasn't he? He said, "Does it look like they asked him if he was settled or something?" And Gerrard had said, "Of course I'm settled. Does it look like I'm not or something?" Which basically was hinting like, "Are you planning on leaving?" And he was pretty much saying no. So the fact that he's still in there in the top 5 is quite surprising, to be honest. Is there odds on signings too? Good shout, Tony. Let's have a look at that. Let's mix it up for the last bit of the stream. Player odds. I mean, again, it's so far away. I shouldn't really be looking at this, to be honest. I should have just stayed on there as well. Can I just change it? Oh. Nothing's easy, is it? Here we go. These are from a few days ago. Yeah. Tarkowski, Coutinho, Lingard, Morales, Ramsey. I mean, I think these are from about a week or two ago, so these are a little bit old. I mean, again, I definitely want to get excited for January, but I also feel like it's quite far away. And what I really want it to happen first is for us to get out of the relegation zone. I mean, come on, really? Like, how are you not getting more money for that? I mean, I'm really sorry for anyone who thinks we might get Mbappe in January, but you're gonna have to wait till at least the summer. I mean, some of these names are a bit too far out there for me. Are we going to win on Saturday? Good question, Colin. Newcastle are taking on. You know what? Let's bring up. You know what? Let's look at why not? We're on fantasy football now. I had a good week at the weekend, actually. Good old Salah doing me a favour. The reason I actually came on here. I mean, if you're not in my league, jump in. Roobenstein FPL. Well, that's not actually why I'm here, but in terms of the fixtures this weekend, it is Chelsea at 3:00 on Saturday for us. I think it's going to be a really tough game. We are currently sitting in second bottom without a win, and we are taking on Chelsea top of the league. So I think, if I'm being completely honest, and look out for my Premier League predictions video. I did actually record it today. So for you guys in here, I'll give you a spoiler. You know what? Let me know what your predictions are if you're in the live stream. Let me know if you're feeling it this weekend. Colin is going to be there, which is brilliant to hear. I've gone 2-0 to Chelsea. I can't see us winning. I can't. I would love it. I would love it if we beat them. I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. And again, this is what I talk about in terms of, you know, getting into January. The odds, yeah. Where are we gone? The odds are very poor. Salah coming in January, sadly not 66-1 for Salah. I know, guys, the odds are terrible. It's just really not happening. And then, as for predictions this weekend, Isaac had Salah triple captain. You what? You madman. That has worked out very well. Toon Trev's going to be there this weekend as well. Fingers crossed, Trev, that we can at least put in a good 90%, 90-minute performance. Dan T thinks we'll remain in 19th. No, man. I've got more faith than that. I think I'll genuinely. I don't know if this is too terrible to say. If you offered me 17th, I think I'd just take it, to be honest. Get the new manager in, give him some time with the players in January, get us into 17th, and then let's just start afresh in the summer. I think the fact that we're almost 10 games in and we haven't won a game yet, I think to not just agree to stay in the Premier League, I think. I mean, again, it'd be fantastic if the new manager could come in, get a couple of wins, you know, get a couple of wins, and then maybe see what January's got to offer. Few players in, then maybe we can see a couple of places jumped higher, and we can end the season in 14th, you know, with a few new players, with a new manager, ready for a good summer. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, I'm not hoping for top 6, but I am hoping that we can maybe get out relegation, get a new manager, get a few new players, and then we'll see where we'll go from there. The predictions are flying in now. Tony's gone 3-1 Chelsea, unfortunately. Sad face. Trev 3-0 Chelsea. Pete's feeling a 3-2 Newcastle. Oh, I'd love it if I could believe you, mate. Buongiorno to the Magpie channel. How's it going, Matty? Are you recovered from the weekend yet? Matty very kindly invited me down to Southampton on the Friday before traveling to Crystal Palace. So I had a very good weekend. I had a very fun Friday, Saturday with a lot of beer. So I'm pretty much just feeling about normal again now, if I'm being honest. Just in time for pints on Saturday for the Chelsea game. Michael has gone 2-0 Chelsea. Yeah, people aren't feeling too confident for this weekend. And to be honest, I don't blame you, because, again, I said it, be sure to look out for my predictions video tomorrow. But for me, I went 2-0 Chelsea as well. Mark says we need to go after Chelsea, the last thing they will expect. And if we get battered, we move on. Yeah, to be fair, I can't really disagree with that either. I'm hopefully going to be doing my podcast later in the week, so watch out for that. We'll have a full preview of the game there. I already spoke to Andy from the podcast, and he pretty much said that he's already talking about, you know, damage limitation and that kind of thing, because really we don't have any defenders, you know, that can actually defend. It'll be interesting to see what Graeme Jones goes with this week again. It was interesting to see what his idea was for the weekend. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, didn't quite work out. Or it didn't quite play the team that maybe I'd hoped for. You know, I think it was going to be very tough for him to try and turn a team around in 48 hours. But if I'm being honest, I did think he was going to do a little bit more than maybe what he did. I suppose it was good to see players like Fraser get a chance. I've heard people talking about people like Lewis, who still aren't getting a game. He's the only fit left back in the squad, and he still doesn't play. So it will be interesting to see whether he mix it around for the Chelsea game. Is Lukaku still injured? Unfortunately, I've heard that he may well be back for this weekend. So if it wasn't bad enough, it looks like he may well be back. Another 3-1 Chelsea. Alan there, most Newcastle fans are worried about relegation, depending on signings in January. I mean, I completely agree with that. The headache is still lingering, mate. Worth it for Wilson, though. Yeah, well, again, I'm very happy that Wilson got his overhead kick goal. Because if he hadn't, it would have been a much sadder trip home with the hangover still intact, to be fair. And again, this is the thing. This is the thing against Palace. Benteke could have scored 4. I mean, he had one ruled out for VAR. He had one that hit the crossbar. He had one that hit the post. He missed one from close range. You know, he could have had a few. And the problem is that if we allow someone like Lukaku to have that many chances on Saturday, he's going to score 4. You know, I thought we did look more compact at the weekend. I think Jones did have enough of an impact to kind of make a bit of a difference. But at the same time, a lot of the game just still looked like Brucey ball. And again, this is the thing, is that Graeme Jones hasn't got the time. And even if he did have the time, we're going to have a new owner, we're going to have a new manager in the week. You know, like what? Even if he does make changes, it's probably going to change again. So he really is just kind of babysitting the situation. He hasn't really got any time to really bring in his own changes that he may want to bring in. And that just means that you're kind of left with waiting for a manager, which again, we've spoken about. Yeah, this is a good question from Isaac. So obviously I started the stream off. We're an hour gone now. The start of the stream, the good part of the start of the stream was talking about Rafa Benitez because of the newest rumours coming out today that Newcastle are still interested, supposedly, and that he is still the dream appointment for Newcastle United. I mean, me personally, again, if this had all happened in the summer and Rafa Benitez was actually free in the summer and we could have had him, then I think I would have been happy to see him back, to be honest. But that is not the situation. Rafa is at Everton. I really can't see him leaving. So with all of that in mind, I think I'm ready to see a bit of Fonseca at Newcastle United. And again, it goes back to what we discussed earlier on the managers we've been linked with. Fonseca doesn't have the Premier League experience, but it looks like he plays attacking football. He's got the Europa League experience. He's got the Champions League experience. He's got the Serie A experience. He was at Roma. He was at Shakhtar Donetsk. He got them through into the knockout stages of the Champions League. He dressed up as Zorro. So he definitely has a lot of ticked boxes for me. Yes, he doesn't have the Premier League experience. Yes, it may not be the fantasy and fairy tale that everyone wanted, which was Rafa to come back. But for me, I think I would be very happy and, dare say it, excited to see Fonseca sign a contract at Newcastle. And honestly, I'd love to see it happen this week. If it could happen Thursday, so he can sit in the crowd in his Zorro costume for the game against Chelsea, so that he can take over on Monday and then see the week of training through to his first game, that would be spot on. Still a few more predictions jumping in. Newcastle 3-1. Joe Linton 2 goals. You've got to get a bet on that, mate. Yeah, get that bet on quick. Hello to Andy, mate. How's you? I've just been talking about your prediction for the game at the weekend. Possible needing some damage limitation depending on how we get on. And we've actually got some positive ones in here. We've got a 2-1 Newcastle as well. We are due a win. Well, I mean, we're going to have to get it eventually. And in fairness, we do often turn up against the big teams. We normally do we normally lose against the teams who we should actually beat. Example, the Derby season where we gave them 4 of their 6 points or whatever it was. And I've got no doubt when we play Norwich later on this year, we'll try and give them 3 points as well. But, I went down to Manchester United away. I saw Ronaldo's debut, and it was one of the best games we'd played all season. It definitely wasn't a 4-1. We actually looked all right. So I'm going to struggle to see how we do against Chelsea, if I'm being honest. I'm not quite as excited as you are. But, yeah, Tony's seen 5 at the back. I've got to agree. Hello to Funfair's new subscriber. I'm going on the tour on Thursday. Enjoy it, mate. It is a great tour. If you're interested in seeing a little bit of it'll be a spoiler really, but I do have a tour on my channel if you want to go and take a look. And I should say, if you are watching and you're not subscribed, then please do, and drop a like as well. There's over 100 people in here, so if everyone could drop a like, that'll be quality. We've got Colin going for a 2-1 Newcastle. I mean, all the positive people are coming out now. Yeah, there it is, Andy. I said it. If Lukaku's back, it's 4-0 minimum. Kraft will get bullied. I think we are going to really struggle. Again, you look at the fact that Benteke, well, I mean, it was 1-1 and the heroics of Callum Wilson really saved us. But Benteke hit the crossbar, he hit the post. He had one that went over. He had a VAR disallowed goal. He could have had 3 easy. And unfortunately, if we give Lukaku that kind of time and space, he is going to punish us much more than Benteke. Really, we did look better. We did look better in the Crystal Palace game. Graeme Jones has clearly put it into their heads that they have to go out there and fight for it. So I do expect to see a fight this weekend, but just the general quality of our team is just not good enough. And again, it comes down to we need a new owner to come in and deliver a new philosophy, because again, Jones, he hasn't got time. Like, even if he got into training yesterday and this morning and said, right, we're going to mix it all up now, let's try something different. I'm hoping the new owner's going to be in on Thursday, or maybe even start next week. So even if Graeme Jones decided he was going to try and change things around, it's going to get changed again in 3 days' time. So for me, all Jones can really do is kind of just try and put a bit of excitement into them, a bit more pressure on them. You come on, you have to do this. There's a new owner watching. There's a new manager option watching. And again, I think it would be great if we could have the new manager in before the weekend, because it means the players have genuinely got to play in front of someone to try and keep their place in the starting 11. But I've got to agree with you. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I've gone 2-0 Chelsea. I'd love it if I was wrong, but we'll have to see. And I mean, some of this, Graeme Jones watching the under-23 yesterday seemed a bit pointless unless he has some kind of future at the club. I mean, I agree, but I also think that this is the kind of thing that managers should be doing. Brucey should really be doing this. I mean, Graeme Jones may well be looking at his long-term future in the club. When the new manager comes in, to turn around and go, how are Jonesy? What have you got to offer? And he can go, well, as it happens, I've been watching the under-23s for the last 3 weeks. I can give you all the info on that. I can be the go-between. I can be the assistant who goes and does a bit of that for you. He's trying to protect his job at the club full stop, not just as manager or assistant manager, really. So I think it's a good effort. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough this weekend. Fingers crossed we can do a job. Let me know down. I was going to say, let me know down in the comments. If you're watching as a video, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the rumours today on Rafa Benitez. I mean, we've had a good chat about it today, so I want to hear what you guys have got to say. I've enjoyed the stream. For everyone that's watching, please do subscribe and like. I am going to jump off now. Be sure to look out for my prediction video tomorrow. I will go through the predictions for all Premier League games going on this weekend, including the Newcastle one. Hello, Dave. Sorry, mate. I'm literally just jumping off now. But thank you for jumping in. Wayne thinks we'll do well to get a draw, which I do agree with. Thank you all for watching. Do drop a like. As I say, there's over 100 guys in here, so if you could all drop a like, that would be spot on. Please do subscribe if you are new. Look out for my predictions video tomorrow. Look out for my podcast later in the week, and the vlog in the weekend against Chelsea, where hopefully I might have something to celebrate. Maybe a first win of the season, some final Benitez nose jumping in at the end of the stream there as well. I mean, I've got to say I do agree. And goodbye to everyone watching. So thank you guys, as always. Like, subscribe, check out Toon Tuesdays next Tuesday as well. And I'll catch you guys later.